Jeanette here. Well, it's fall and we're having a cold snap here, and it's really waking me up to know that I've got to get some fire starter made so that I can make a fire quick and easy. In the fall, you don't always want a fire. You kind of need one for a short term, and it's hard to get it started sometimes, but I found a quick and easy way to start a fire by making a fire starter, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. Thanks for coming around. The primary ingredient for making these fire starters is wax, and you can pick up cheap candles like this at garage sales over the summertime and just save them up for this job. But this year I have some bags of soy wax that I bought a long time ago and never have used, so I thought it would be a good year to do that. So I have a 1 pound bag of soy wax right there. I'm going to melt that in a pan I'm going to use as a double boiler with a number 10 can on top sitting down in the water. You need to be really careful whenever you heat up wax, not to do it too fast and not to do it too hot, because you can cause it to catch on fire and then you have a big bad situation going on. I usually have some of these trays here for eggs. If you don't have the flats for them, you can just use paper egg cartons. And then the second main ingredient is sawdust. So I'm going to mix the sawdust with the wax, and let's get started. I have the pan on the stove, and I will warm this water up. You can boil this water and there's no problem. You just don't want to put your container of wax directly on your burner, because it will get too hot in certain spots and it can explode and ignite. So I'm going to put the wax in the can, and it'll take a while for that to boil. We're just going to watch it. I like to use a chopstick to do a lot of different things, and this isn't one of them. So I'm going to let this heat, and I'll get back with you when it's melted. My wax is melted, and it's steaming up my lens. While it's still on the stove and the burner's turned way down, I'm going to start adding the sawdust because I don't want it to cool off too much. Also, I put another bag of that wax in there. I put 2 pounds in this can. Let's stir it up. Now I found you don't want too much sawdust to make it too thick. You don't want too little, because the sawdust acts as a pretty good fuel in there to burn along with the wax. I think I'm going to add 1 more cupful and then call it good. I've laid a trash bag out over my table because I don't want to get the wax on there, and I've put a pot holder underneath my pan so it doesn't get too hot. After it's mixed in, I make sure my can here isn't too hot, and I'll start pouring this into the egg cartons. This stuff burns so well that you don't really have to fill it all the way up. Spread your stuff out as best you can in between there. After you get it filled to satisfaction, just set it aside and let it cool down and harden. Well, I voted. When they cool off, you just have to break them apart. It's kind of hard. I've tried cutting them. It didn't work so well, but I think breaking them is the best. Make individual little puck type things to stick in the fire. And the edges of the paper catch on fire real easy, and I'll show you how it works in the stove. The stove that we have is a new kind of stove where it doesn't make air come up from the bottom. It makes air come in from the top. And so you have to make your fire a little bit different than if you have one that feeds air from the bottom. And so I put some wood in here, and then on top I put my fire starter, and then I like to collect sticks out in the yard to use as kindling. It works great for me, plus it helps me get the yard cleaned up. I lay those on top as some fuel, and then light a match. Usually the cardboard on the egg carton catches fire very quickly, and as it feeds across, it will catch the wax and sawdust mixture on fire. And we'll just do a time lapse here over a few minutes and see what happens. As I can confirm that it's going to go ahead and burn, I'll put some small pieces of wood across it like that to ensure that I go ahead and get a fire. I usually close the stove door some like that, but not all the way, for a minute or two. And again, as I can see that it's going to burn, I will go ahead and close it. And again, it will feed air from the top since this is pulled open, and it allows air to get in to feed the fire. This is the best fire starter that I've found that works great, and I make it every year, and so I just wanted to share with you how I make it and how good it is and easy it is to make it and keep it on hand. Because fire starting can be frustrating if you don't have the right kind of materials to make a good fire. Thanks for joining. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.